So good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Varun Patel and I'm the CEO at Spokes Digital. Spokes Digital is the leading provider of digital marketing solutions for cannabis and hemp CBD industry. Today we are presenting the very awaited topic, that is search and social integration. So toolkit for cannabis and hemp CBD industry. So the reason we chose this topic was that we were finding a great relevance and I would say great results when we combined both channels because of the regulations and a lot of legal hassles around these Google and other platforms. I think it's very tough to focus on only one platform. I think we need to capture the users all across the platforms, and that's how it becomes very important for us to dwell on this topic, and we will go deep down on this. It will be presented by me and Lauren LaPlante. Lauren is our Chief Growth Officer. We would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions during this presentation, please type them into the question box in Zoom panel, and we can bring them up during the presentation. And we will also have some time for questions at the end. And as always, record version of the webinar will be available on our website. So now without further ado, we'll start with the presentation. Lauren, it's over to you.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to listen to our message here in our webinar. So it's a really interesting subject, as Varun mentioned. So let's get right into it. Just really looking at how we can integrate the search and the social. So we always start out with a quote, and here's Megan Keeney Anderson from HubSpot saying, "Don't push people to where you want to be, meet them where they are." So Varun will show an example later on where we've seen certain websites with questionnaires, which are really great because the questionnaires help them to understand where their customers are coming from. If they're, for example, new CBD users curious about the product, or if they're veteran CBD users. So he'll give that example. And then we always show some statistics here, and I'll point you to the bar graph on the right. So looking at the social networks that are most popular, of course, we have Facebook at the top. And as you may know, Facebook is, the demographic of Facebook is getting older and older. So it's really important that you have social presence in many different platforms to capture various demographics. And then second there is YouTube. YouTube, I think, from what I've seen, is a lot more search friendly than I had thought at first. So it's a very important social platform. Then you have WhatsApp, Face Messenger, Instagram, and so forth. Next slide, please. Okay, now we're going to go into the meat of the presentation. I'll start off with the benefits of search and social integration. So the first thing that comes, at least to my mind, when we talk about social is it really helps with brand awareness and just getting your brand out there. Think about a Facebook page that you might have, or an Instagram page that you might have. It really helps with the brand awareness. Maybe not so much with sales per se, but it's an important platform. Social media is an important platform to have some visibility. And the other thing is that some of the search engines grab the user behavior from the social platforms. Next slide. So next benefit of this integration is that it allows you to really personalize your message. So you can look at or analyze your consumer behavior on all of these platforms, all of the social media platforms that you're participating in, as well as Google and Bing and other search engines. And analyzing that consumer behavior will really allow you to personalize the message that you deliver to your consumers. So knowing better the demographic of your consumers, what they're searching on, what they're looking for is really important for your messaging. Another benefit of search and social integration is it gives you stronger data capabilities. So data is really important in analyzing that data, capturing it to understand, again, what your consumers are looking for, what's their behavior. And with the social platforms, they allow you to get pieces of data that you may not get in search and vice versa. So they really complement each other. Next slide. Another benefit of search and social integration is that it really allows you to better target your audience. So especially with search engine marketing, with the data that you get from all of these platforms, you can really better understand the consumer behavior and what they're looking for, so you can better target, for example, your PPC campaign. And you can also create lookalike audiences to create a persona of your ideal customer. So you can create that persona, for example, in your Facebook page, and your customers will relate to that persona. Next, we're going to get into the reasons why you might want to combine search and social media. So looking at the in social media, what's really important are the social signals that impact the search ranking. So what are social signals? That's the shares that your posts get, the likes, and just your overall visibility. So the search engines like Google and Bing, they actually look at the social signal, the overall visibility and the social signals that you have on the social media platforms. So the search engines rank you more highly if you have more interaction in your social media platforms. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is with social search, it's all about relevance and authenticity. And if you've been listening to our webinars, the other thing that we talk about here is the EAT methodology. And EAT stands for expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. So really portraying yourself as the expert you are in the products that you offer, and how you have specific solutions for the customers, things that they're looking for. Like maybe they're looking for a remedy for sleep, to have better sleep, or a remedy for muscle pain, things like that. So you really want to show yourself as an expert in those areas. And then the search engines will see that you are an authority and your content is very relevant, and they'll reward you for that. Okay. So here I mentioned about YouTube earlier, and just looking at social media, it's with YouTube, for example, it's already integrated into search. So for example, if you do a Google search on, let's say you do a brand, see, you can, okay, so Varun's showing there, you can do a Google search on CBD review, and this YouTube video will pop up. So just showing you how the YouTube is very much integrated with the search engines. Now in this slide, what we're showing here is how the combining the search and the social really impacts your results. So if you look at the bar graph here, on the left side, you'll see the conversion rate for social is just over 0.5, it's between 0.5 and 1%. For search only, the conversion rate is almost 2%. And then when you combine both the search and the social, it brings you all the way up to 3.5% in terms of conversion rate. The other thing that's notable here on the right side, the graduation there, is the revenue per click. So the revenue per click and your conversion rate, at least in this chart, is showing you that it's a direct correlation. As your conversion rate goes up, your revenue per click also goes up. So here we're going to talk about the combined search and social and how that delivers more exposure for your brand. So an exercise that you may want to try if you have a brand in mind is just Google search on your brand. And if you have really good search engine optimization, as well as really good social media presence, you should come up on the first page. Your brand should come up on the first page for all of these. Your ads should come up if you have paid ads, as well as your Facebook page, if you have a Facebook page, YouTube, and so forth. So I invite everybody to do that exercise for your brand. And you should own all of those on that search engine results page. Next slide. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is how you can combine the search and the social to really target the demographics that you're looking for. So I'll point you to the graph that's there on the right side. The top line is Facebook. And then the middle line is Instagram. And then the bottom line is LinkedIn. So basically, this is just showing that when you have several different platforms that you're working towards, you can really get a wide variety of demographics. And that's what you'd want to do, is you want to have that presence in many different platforms. So you can, what Varun is pointing out there is looking at the ages, for example. Each age group seems to have a preference for the platforms that they use. Varun, is there a point here that you wanted to make?
Yeah, so as you rightly said, I think each platform represents, I will say, a larger population of particular demography. So, for example, Facebook on Instagram and LinkedIn represent different age groups. As you rightly said, Facebook is considered to be a social platform for old people. However, Instagram is considered to be a social platform for the younger people, and 90% of the users who use Instagram are like 25, and for Facebook it's like 45 plus, and for LinkedIn it's like a middle age, 35 to 45. So when we integrate search and social platforms, we have a wide variety of audience lists that can be created as per the platform and can be targeted separately. So that's something we can do. And I think one thing we can see in the right side is like in the Pinterest is the popular because of the female-centric platform. So if you want to target a specific audience, age groups audience and sex audience, something like that, or maybe specific kind of geography and also the demography, we can have the list created in our analytics to target those specific audiences. We can talk about that in the next slides.
Okay. So here, looking at the real propensity for users to prefer the mobile as opposed to desktop and tablet. So you'll see in the Google Analytics screenshot here from one of our clients, you'll see that the mobile and the Instagram social has a lot more revenue than the desktop and the tablet. So for the mobile, it's over $2,000 in revenue, whereas for the desktop, at least for this period, is $62. So it's really important to have very good mobile speed, and increasingly more important. And this is also showing how important it is for the social as well to have the mobile presence capability. Okay. So the next combined benefit for the search and social is that it really allows you to better promote your content. So in this example here, we're showing a blog from a particular brand that's actually very popular. And the blog is in Twitter. So this is their Twitter feed. And the learn more that Varun was just pointing out, that's the actual blog. So you're kind of cross-pollinating your website with the social. So if someone, for example, is searching on menopause relief or something to help with menopause, they will come up either with this blog or with the Twitter feed. So either way, we're going to capture that audience. Another reason to combine search and social is really allows you to provide better customer service. So, having someone who's administering, looking at these feeds here, right? So this is an Instagram account for one of our clients, and be active on this as your brand. See what people are saying, be responsive, and if there's anyone, for example, who has a complaint, you can respond to that as well and deal with that. So this is an example of what I was talking about earlier. If you Google your brand, you want to see that all of the platforms that you're participating in, whether it be search, the YouTube or the Instagram, you want to be able to come up on the first page of that search. That really tells you that your search engine is well optimized and your social is also well optimized. Like I said before, you want to own that. You want to be on that first page of the search engine results. Next slide. Okay. Here's another benefit in terms of the reasons why you would want to combine the social and the search. So it allows you to, again, have the visibility of what your customers are talking about. So on this feed, you want to be active. So you see a customer had a comment here. They posted that the pain relief lotion it really worked. So this was a recommendation. So you as the brand can come in and post a comment here where just showing those hearts, giving love to that comment and to that customer. And that's another part of the social signal. So just really increasing your visibility and your searchability. Another reason to combine search and social is if you're a local business, if you really want to, if you have a brick and mortar store, for example, or let's say you're a delivery company and you're delivering to a certain region. So you can use both the local SEO as well as the social media to drive the traffic and your customers to see that you deliver in their area. So for example, this is looking for a cannabis dispensary in Santa Clarita, combining both the search as well as the social allows this customer to locate where the delivery is available and who delivers in their region. Excellent. Now I'm going to turn things over to Varun, who will give some client examples and case studies, which are always very interesting. And I think before we go to that, Varun, there's some questions here. I know Gwen has been pretty active, so maybe we can address some of her questions before you go on.
Okay, so Gwen is asking, Facebook does not allow CBD. You can be delisted on platform anytime as changing TOS. Then Gwen is saying, cannabis is banned from most social platform. Individual account can be banned from as per class 1 narcotic. So Gwen, I think you are right. However, there are some guidelines by Facebook. For example, one can advertise or one can use the topical CBD, and it should not be ingestible. And one can also post the hemp. So cannabis is banned from social media platform, but you can always be advertise or post as an informative post, and maybe you can refrain from be mentioning just like cannabis or advertising cannabis on this. See, there are a lot of ways you can advertise by not directly using what is banned and what is not allowed. So we have been working with a lot of clients and helping them to drive a lot of traffic to the website, and then using the search as a tool. So if you look at our topic that says search and social integration, so why are we doing that? Because once we drive traffic from Facebook, it comes to your website, and then we can create a list of the users who came to your website, and then we can do the remarketing campaign using that audience list, and probably can retarget them using either Google Ads or maybe other paid tools or programmatic tools as well. Where it is allowed to do marketing on cannabis and CBD is a kind of a process that we have to follow in order to utilize that. So this is something that we had been working with our clients and doing it. So if you say that it is not legal, this is right, but there are a lot of ways to advertise and get the benefit of those audience and remarket them as well. You can talk more about it if you have some doubts, and you reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you on this front. There was one more question on the Q&A, I guess. Let me see. Can you see the question in the Q&A?
Yeah, I think you answered, but there were both the questions from Gwen about the CBD being not allowed and the cannabis ban from the social media.
Okay.
So Gwen, just let us know if you have further questions, please put them in the chat.
Okay, so now we'll dwell more deeper into the planning and optimization part while doing the integrations, and then we'll talk about integrating paid search with social and paid social within paid search. And so the first thing is like optimizing your strategy. So this is the main thing, like your campaign strategy should aim at building your brand and achieving desired results. So if we have a strategy where we can do cross pollination on possibly social platforms of search, then I think we can reach to potential buyers, and it will help us to get the most out of our strategies. So optimizing strategy is important when we are looking forward to achieve our goals. So as Lauren was discussing the quote on the first slide, what she really meant to say was, meet the customer where they are. We have to find out how familiar is the customer with your products, and then uh, how to know that what they're looking for, and then consulting or recommending them the solutions that customer is looking for. So these questions are really important, and then directing our customers to the products that you have that can suit their needs is also very important. So this example from one of the client that we are working with, they have a quiz that has simple questions. So for example, they say our tinctures are tailored to give you exactly what you need. So they have some products that can give users what they're looking for. So they are like very customized. So when you fill the questionnaire, you answer the questions, then they will recommend you the best products as per the user's requirements. Then second is conducting keyword and topic research. So when we are looking to integrate our social and search, we need to find out what are the best topics and keywords that we want, and we want to integrate our platforms, and then we can make the research and see where we are right now. So if you look at the right side, this is like when you create a audience list. It's like affinity category where we have various categories and that can be targeted in Google Ads. Then in market segments, like for example, we are going to target some of the most trending topics and that are there, and we can see either our topics are in trending or not. And other categories are there also there that can be seen, and when we choose the categories, we can make a research of the topics and the keywords, and then we can create the content and we can use in paid ads and social postings also. Then how to optimize your profile. So based on the keyword research and content and topic research, we can also optimize our profile, and we can insert that thing on the descriptions and on the titles of each social media platform, so that we can also send social signals to Google and other search engines, but can also drive more high value customers to social media pages based on the search. So as Lauren was referring on the last slide, that when users are making a search on a particular keyword, you should own the space. And what does it mean? It's like when you have right keyword and right tagging, then you will probably own the space, because Google will show all the results related to your brand, because you have relevant keywords and content that is mentioning the targeted keywords and topics everywhere in the social as well as on search platforms. The next is like if you're doing paid ads, then always look into the best performing ad copy, and I think it will give you some clue about why it is performing best, because of the description, because of the particular keywords used, or because the topic that has been used on the ad copy, and using those uh, you know, topics and keywords to choose the topic and maybe create the content, and maybe then finding out the hashtag and social handles, and maybe imbibing that strategy everywhere across the channels. The next is integrating e-commerce feeds into AdWords results. So this is an example from one of our clients. So if you look at this, when somebody is searching for a particular product, they are finding the e-commerce feeds that are popping up on this shopping, and is the paid ads that we are doing for one of our clients. So so what happens, like you are linking your product pages directly to PPC ads, and it will also show all the reviews, all these images, and you can also link the same kind of products and images in the other social platforms, like create a shop page on Facebook, create a shopping on Instagram, and then probably link the same kind of descriptions everywhere, so that user is finding the same messaging and products everywhere in the platforms across social and search channels. Combating negative PR. So when you are planning for combating negative PR, you need to maybe reach out to customers who can give you good feedback, not only on Facebook but also on the Google My Business. That can help you to uh, maybe combat those negative PRs and negative reviews from the clients. So, for example, we have given this example because overall, if you look at this. Uh, like this is the like 4.1 rating for our client, but there's also one star given by someone who's like a bot. So we are immediately taking this onto every platform that we have, like on search and social, and letting other users know that this is a fake kind of a bot that is posting this kind of a review. And Google can take this also like as a feedback from us that somebody is doing this negative kind of a marketing and negative PR for our brand, and they can penalize the other users but not our brand in that way. Then using test strategic, so like we can also test like organic keywords with PPC. So we can search for the keywords on which probably we are not ranking on the first top 10 page. And then you can find out like which are those keywords and use those keywords on the PPC ads as well as on the social platforms. So, and once we start ranking on those keywords on organic platform, we can possibly pause our ads and maybe do the more investment and research on other keywords that we are not ranking, so that Google can maybe help us to rank not only on the paid but also on the organic and other platforms by this strategy. Then other is the using social extensions. So that is something that can also give you a good visibility. So the right side, on the right side, you can see that one of the example where on the PPC ad is mentioning the followers on Google Plus. So whenever you're doing ads, look at the extensions, and when you are doing the extensions, you can use various promotion extensions or call extensions, but also social extensions, so that your integration with social is there, and you can also utilize the reviews and followers list from that. So this is a Google Plus that is showing up on the right side on a search ad. So that is a good thing to do for the ads to get them more credibility. And whenever we are doing for example the this planning, we need to see that what kind of content we are sharing on social media, either it is original content or it is a curated content. So if it is original content, that has to have a strategy around the keywords and topics we are targeting around search. And if it is curated content, then it has to be from a source that is very credible and can also correlate with the brand that we are kind of a business into. So we need to find out the right kind of sources we can share on the platforms in that. So there's an example where there's a topic in the Yahoo that has been mentioned by one of the influencer that is talking about 25 giftable CBD treats, and they're mentioning the brand of our client, and that we have shared on the social handle of our social page. So it is boosting up not only the search but also the ranking for the keywords we are targeting. Using hashtags, so this is also another strategy that can be used as a social and as a also social signal for the search. So somebody searching on the social media for CBD patches, which is an example from one of our client, where somebody is searching on CBD patches, hashtags showing a lot of hashtags coming. And if you are on one of those hashtags, now you can easily be found by the customers, and they can find your handle and also the website using that kind of hashtag. And if somebody is searching on the Google, possibly with this keyword, they will find the Instagram page of the client, and they can also go to the social handle. So if you are having the right kind of a hashtag strategy, you can not only uh, get searched on the social platform, but also can be found on the social platforms, on the search platforms. Then next is like solidifying your posting schedule. So that is again in sync with whatever the content is coming on your way. So for example, if you have one blog coming up on possibly on maybe Wednesday, you can plan maybe post Facebook post for the Wednesday, where you can share the blog on Facebook. Maybe LinkedIn, you can share the blog as well, because it's a knowledgeable platform. then you have Twitter, and similarly you have Pinterest. So you can go to these platforms, and then we can plan another post for other days. So there should be a schedule that you can plan your strategy and publish the content on social media based on the targeted keywords and search engine queries that are being generated for your brand. In monitoring your campaign, so we need to monitor the campaigns for the KPIs we are targeting. So that is very important because if your campaign is performing and optimized and you're optimizing it as per the goal, then you need to just maybe add more keywords and topics so that you can expand the reach of the campaign, and that can be, and the traffic that you're generating from these pro social campaign can be taken to the analytics, and then probably you can utilize that traffic for doing the retargeting campaigns that we'll talk about in next slides, and how to probably do the integration by doing a Facebook campaign and get the benefit of that in Google search ads. So the next topic we'll talk about is how to do integration of paid search within paid social. That is more of like the execution part. So I think most of you must be aware about the uh, Google Click ID. So whenever you create a campaign and whenever there's an ad that is being served to the customer, when they click on the ad, there is an ID that you will see on the URL that is there when they go to a landing page. So that is called a GCL ID, and this GCL ID, what it does, it can be taken. For example, you can go to your settings also to copy the GCL ID, or you can also get from the landing page. So this is, for example, this is the URL, and if you can take this and you can go to the Facebook and you can do the targeting on this. For example, create a custom audience, and then say people who visited specific web pages in the past 100 days, and it contains this GCL ID. So if you have the GCL ID, Facebook will automatically fetch a list of all the users who have been coming from that ID, and you can do a lookalike audience and remarketing campaign in the Facebook using that GCL ID. So this example in the next slide. So if you look at this creative, so it's like if a specific person is searching for a product in within the Facebook, who was earlier was in Google search, and who clicked on an ad and was using using the GCL ID that was in the URL, you can retarget the user within the Facebook, and he will be served this ad. So you can see this. This ad is being served to the customer who was in search earlier, and it was because we targeted that user uh, in the Facebook with this custom audience. So UTM underscore terms will challenger underscore comp. So this is the UTM we created and targeted in the Facebook, and this ad was served to the customer. So apart from the integration of search and social, we can also do platform targeting. So this example will talk about the LinkedIn. So we can see that platform like LinkedIn, they are very costly to advertise, and the cost per click is like $6 to $7. So I think what we can do is like we can create a campaign, we can drive the traffic to the website, and create the audience that is LinkedIn audience. And after collecting the data and creating the audience, we can always use a cheaper platform for remarketing. For example, Facebook, it has a very cheap cost per click that is like for example 50 cents or $1. So same audience can be retargeted that was targeted in LinkedIn at a cheaper price, and it will save your cost and also do the more kind of ROI. So this is an example. So when an audience visits from your LI ads, there's LinkedIn ads, so it contains a UTM. And when we create the ad, in the same ad can be created in Facebook, and within the custom audience we can put this UTM, and we can say people who visited specific web pages in past 30 days containing this UTM, they will be shown this ad. So this is remarketing creative on FB to your LinkedIn ad visitors. So you are targeting LinkedIn audience within Facebook at a cheaper cost, uh, and it will also be a cross-channel targeting where you are not missing any chance to serve your customer, any chance to grab your customer attention. The next is how to integrate paid social within paid search. That's also very interesting because generally what I've seen is like the social is more about like branding and awareness, and search is more about acquiring customer, and it's all about be targeting a customer who is having a very high purchase intent. So I think when we do a lot of paid campaigns on social, we can drive traffic, and we can create audiences in the analytics, and we can retarget them with the search with the very specific I will say purchase intent. So the RLSA is a answer to all this. RLSA or remarketing list for search ad is one of the most obvious way to retarget the users from the search, and this can be done maybe very specific to the keywords and topics. So if you look at this example, like this figure, I think you would have done that already. So visitor goes to your site, visitor leaves, and your ad on other sites, and then you just show your ad, and then user clicks on it and comes back to your site. So that's the retargeting. So where we are implementing the same strategy within the uh, paid social, uh, and maybe bringing users back in the search. So you can see creating an audience in the Google Ads. So this is a example you can do. Go to audience, create an audience list. Once this list is created, you can go back and create the segments in analytics. So whenever you go to analytics, under the admin page of your analytics, you'll find audience definition section, where you can go to the definition and create the list. For example, Facebook list, or it can be Facebook add to cart, it can be LinkedIn add to cart, product page, and all segments can be created based on a specific criteria or requirement of your brand. So next slide will show the example. So this example shows that how to create audience in Google Analytics. So you go to Analytics, on the left side, you get audience click on the admin, go to the audience definitions, and when you click on the audience definitions, you will get this pop-up. And within this pop-up, you can create the very specific audience having a very particular demography, that is like age group, gender, language, affinity category, or in market category, that is like trending topics, and interest categories, and also locations. So if you have a particular targeted location, and if you want to target a particular kind of geography, and then you have particular target audience, you can always refine it by each factor that is given over here, and then you can create those various segments and retarget them. So once you create that audience list, then you go back to the Google Ads, and in order to pull that audience into Google Ads, you can go to the settings, and once you go to the settings, you can go and check it out, that how can you pull this up. It will give you a list that you can pull out from the analytics. So going to the settings, and then you will see the various audience that can be seen here. So for example, the example that we are showing is like FB ads remarketing. So we can create this kind of list in analytics and pull that into Google Ads. And this list, and we'll utilize this list to do the remarketing in Google. So anybody who has seen the ad in Facebook, visited our web page, will be shown the ads in Google platform, Google search platform as well. And we can do it like on a various thing. For example, it's like overall customer base is who is coming from Facebook, and we are showing ads. We can also create segments. For example, people who are coming from Facebook but they have done add to cart, so we can create that list as well. We can also do people who are coming from Facebook and who have done checkout but haven't possibly placed the order. So we can create those lists and then create different kind of ads as per the audience, and we can target them on a campaign level or on the ad group level. So this is one of the example. When we clicked on the FB audience, we can pull that here, and we can see when we did the marketing on this FB ads remarketing, we can see that the performance, 7 conversions, cost per conversion was $54, 462 clicks, and impressions were like almost 200,000 impressions, and CTR was 0.23%, and CPC was very less at around 80 cents. So that is something, is a full example of how did we do the ad on the Facebook, create the audience in analytics, and pull that audience into Google Ads, and then did the campaign on that list and got the performance over here. So this is a perfect example of how can you integrate the audiences across search and social. It can be done across all platforms, and more you do that, more you create the capability to retarget users across the platforms and give them the information that they need. And I think there's best, it is used best when you are having possibly a lot of budget, and you also want to create a lot of conversions. So like for example, doing a display campaign Google and bringing a lot of traffic to the website at a cheaper cost. It may not convert, but it will give you a lot of visibility and reach. But doing a remarketing campaign, not only on Google, but also on Facebook or maybe on LinkedIn or maybe on other platforms that are like programmatic platforms. So when I talk about programmatic platforms, I think Gwen was uh, very right about the legality issues on Facebook and other platforms for cannabis and CBD. Uh, so for example, we have also, like as a Spokes Digital, we found this problem very obvious, and we created a programmatic solutions where we can also pull the list of the audience that is coming from Facebook or Google, or that is coming organically, that is coming from maybe email, and we can use that list to retarget on a programmatic channel. So these channels will allow you to advertise for all the cannabis products, for all the CBD products, irrespective of whatever is your product, irrespective of what is the messaging, what is the creative. So we can retarget those all those users using the programmatic ad platforms, and that we have created in-house. So you can also find out more companies who are doing that. So that strategy will help you to get more conversions because it won't restrict you in using certain keywords and certain kind of ad copies that probably you cannot do in Facebook and Google. So that is something I think we can discuss in more detail. I think programmatic is one area where that can be discussed. I think in more detail in next topics that we can discuss how can we integrate that list to programmatic and do the ads on that. So that's it I think from us, and this is time for Q&A. If anybody has questions, we can discuss that.
So, Varun, there was a question Maria asked about the recording being available, and I sent that information. I answered the question in the Q&A. So there's a link to our website page where you can access the webinar recordings. I'll also post it in the chat so everybody can see.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Lauren. So I mean, there's a lot of I think technicalities on this presentation uh, that can be I think learned by using the platforms, and we are always there to help and also to answer any questions that you have. We have worked with a lot of brands that you can see, and their cannabis and their delivery, their dispensaries, and we have used some of these strategies we have mentioned over here to help one or more of the brands in this page. So we can always help you guys to refine your strategy, and we can, and I think you will get some ideas from this presentation as well, and how can you do that. For any questions, please reach out to me and Lauren, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of the questions and help you guys to integrate both channels and set up your campaigns to bring more success and revenue.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye bye.